As an Azure administrator, you are constantly deploying resources, VMs, storage accounts, networks, and more. Doing this manually is fine for one or two resources. But what if you need to deploy dozens or hundreds in a repeatable, consistent way? That's where ARM templates come in. Think of them as your blueprint to automate Azure resource deployment. Defined in code, version controlled, and reusable across environments. An ARM template is a declarative JSON file. It tells Azure what resources you want, not how to create them. You describe the desired state, and Azure takes care of the rest. Sample template is on the screen. This template deploys a single storage account. Simple and powerful. When you're working with ARM templates, you will interact with a few essential sections that define how your infrastructure is described and deployed. $schema section sets the structure for your template. It tells Azure where to find the schema that defines the rules and syntax for the file. You don't need to modify it often, but it ensures Azure interprets your template correctly. In content version, you specify the version of your template. It's useful for tracking changes over time. You can use this to manage updates and revisions as your infrastructure grows or evolves. Parameters let you make your template dynamic. Instead of hard-coding values like region names or storage account types, you define them as parameters. This way, you can pass in different values during deployment and reuse the same template in various environments. Variables allow you to simplify your template by storing values that are reused multiple times. You can combine parameters and constants here to make the template cleaner and more maintainable. Resources is the heart of your ARM template. In this section, you define every Azure resource you want to deploy, whether it's a virtual machine, storage account, or virtual network. You'll include configuration settings, dependencies, and other necessary properties. Finally, outputs let you extract and return values after deployment. For example, you can return a storage account name or connection string, so you can use them in a script or as input to another deployment. When you use ARM templates, you gain the power to manage your infrastructure as code, bringing clarity, consistency, and control to your deployments. You can deploy the same infrastructure setup again and again with complete consistency. Whether you're spinning up environments for testing, development, or production, ARM template ensure that every deployment behaves exactly the way you defined it. ARM templates fit perfectly into your CI/CD pipelines, such as those in Azure DevOps. By integrating your templates with automation workflows, you remove manual steps and accelerate your deployment process from hours to minutes. Since ARM templates are just code, you can store them in Git repositories. This means you can track every change, roll back to previous versions, and collaborate with your team, just like you do with application code. You can define your entire test, dev, and prod environments directly in your template. By parameterizing your setup, you can switch between environments without changing the template structure, only the input values. Manual deployments are prone to mistakes, especially when setting up complex resources. With ARM templates, you avoid typos, misconfigurations, and skipped steps. Everything is defined in code, so deployments are more reliable and predictable. You have several flexible options when it comes to deploying ARM templates, depending on your workflow and preferences. If you prefer working through a graphical interface, you can deploy your ARM template using the Azure portal. Simply navigate to the Deploy a Custom Template blade, where you can paste or upload your template and walk through a guided deployment process. For a command line experience, you can use the Azure CLI to deploy your template. The command you will need is shown on the screen. This approach is especially useful when you want to script deployments or run them from your local terminal, or a CI/CD pipeline. If PowerShell is more your style, you can deploy the template using an Azure PowerShell command as shown on the screen. This is a great fit for administrators who are already managing resources with PowerShell scripts. To fully automate your deployments, you can integrate ARM templates into Azure DevOps pipelines. This method allows you to manage infrastructure as code, version everything in your repository, and deploy reliably with every commit or release. Use parameters to customize deployments without changing your base template. For example, change VM sizes or names by just passing new values. You can also break down large templates into nested or linked templates for better manageability. You should never hardcode passwords, keys, or connection strings directly into your ARM templates. Instead, integrate Azure Key Vault to securely reference secrets at deployment time. This keeps your infrastructure code clean and your sensitive data protected. Before you deploy any template, take a moment to validate it. You can use built-in tools like A to Z Deployment Validate to catch syntax issues or missing parameters early. This simple step helps you avoid runtime failures and ensures a smoother deployment experience. Stick to established naming conventions and apply tags consistently across all resources. You can enforce these standards using Azure policies or even embed them directly in your templates. This not only improves visibility and governance but also helps with cost management and resource tracking. So, what's your key takeaway? ARM templates give you superpowers as an Azure admin. They help you deploy, manage, and automate resources at scale. Once you get comfortable with JSON syntax and template structure, you'll be building repeatable and secure infrastructure with confidence.